It's good morning for me anyway. I thought you might like to see how I'm going. So, when I did that blog post, it was October 8th. It's now about 2 weeks later, and I'm about 2 weeks out from heading to Burma or Myanmar. So, here we are, we're up to the 24th. Yep, it's about 7 a.m. So I usually do my practice from 7 till 7:30, and I'm just gonna get stuck in.
Here's another example. This time suppose a man is talking to an older woman. She asks his name.
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
How does he tell her his name is Demetrius?
Demetrius
Demetrius
Lokobare.
လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And now how would he ask her name?
တော်တော်ကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
Continuing lesson 10.4. Sometimes you may find yourself stuck for a kin term. Maybe you don't feel confident about judging the person's age, or you don't feel close enough to presume kinship with them. There is a word you can use as a fallback, and it's meswe. You met the word meswe before in the phrase meswe aim, a friend's house. It does mean friend, but you can also use it to mean you. So when you want to ask someone's name, instead of calling them Ule or Ama or whatever, you can just call them meswe. Try saying this after the tape.
မိတ်ဆွေကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
Suppose you were talking to a man who you didn't want to call uncle or brother. He asks your name.
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
Tell him your name is Hermia.
ဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And now, how would you ask his name?
မိတ်ဆွေရောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
Another exchange of names. Suppose you were talking to a woman you don't want to call aunt or sister. She asks your name.
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
You tell her your name is Lysander.
Sandaba.
လိုက်ဆယ်ရန်လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And now, how would you ask her name?
Meswego. Neme bulu korode.
မိတ်ဆွေကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
Lesson 10.5. Now we turn to the answer to the question about your name. When someone's just told you his name and then asks you,
မိတ်ဆွေကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
or he might say,
အမကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်သလဲ
or something along those lines, you could just say,
ဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
but it's more common to begin with, my name is. Try this after the tape.
ကျမနာမည်ကဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
As you heard, the word for my, when it's a woman speaking, is just the same as the word for I. They're both Jama. So my name is Jama Name. You also heard that the speaker didn't say,
ကျမနာမည်ဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
instead she said,
ကျမနာမည်ကဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
instead of plain Jama Name, she said, Jama Name Ga. That suffix Ga is often used when you're contrasting one thing with another. The first speaker's already told you his name, so now you're saying, my name is so-and-so. When you add a Ga, it's a bit like saying, as for my name, it's so-and-so. But it's not quite so obtrusive as for is in English. Here's the tape to copy.
ကျမနာမည်ကဟာမီယာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
How would you say, my name is Helena?
ကျမနာမည်ကဟယ်လနာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
What happens when the speaker's a man? As you know, the man's word for I is Jano, and the man's word for my is almost the same, but there's a slight change. It's pronounced with a creaky tone instead of a low tone. Not Jano, but Jano. Say this after the tape.
ကျွန်တော်နာမည်ကလိုက်ဆန်ဒါလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And how would you say, my name is Oberon?
ကျွန်တော်နာမည်က Oberon လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Practice time for lesson 10.5. In these exchanges, you get to ask all the questions and give all the answers. How do you say, what's your name?
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
Say, it's Charles,
Charles လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Charles လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
and ask, and what's your name? And you call her sister.
အမ
အမကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
She says,
နာမည်ကို
my name is Thira Wing.
တီရာဝင်းခေါ်ပါတယ်
ကျမနာမည်ကတီရာဝင်းလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
ကျမနာမည်
Next
က
encounter. First ask the man's name.
နာမည်ပဲလို့ခေါ်တယ်လေ
Say, it's Andrew.
အန်ဒရူပါအန်ဒရူလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Andrew လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And ask, and what's your name? And call her friend.
မဲဆွေနာမည်က
မိတ်ဆွေကောနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
မဲဆွေ
The
ကို
woman says, my name is Mama A.
Mama A လို့ကျမနာမည်က
ကျမနာမည်ကမမအေးလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Next encounter. First ask the lady's name.
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
It's Diana.
Diana လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
ဒိုင်ယာနာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And what's your name? And she calls him brother.
နာမည်နာအ
အ
ကို
ကိုကိုနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်
Say,
ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်
my
လဲ
name is Kozia.
ကျွန်တော်နာမည်ကစမလို့ခေါ်
ကျွန်
ပါ
တော်
တ
နာ
ယ်
မည်ကကိုစရာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
ကိုစရာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Next encounter. Ask the lady's name.
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
Say, it's Fergie.
Fergie လို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
ဖာဂီလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
And say, what's your name? And call him friend.
မဲဆွဲကနာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
မိတ်ဆွေကို
မဲဆွဲကို
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
နာမည်ဘယ်လိုခေါ်တယ်လဲ
Say, my name is Zagana.
ကျွန်တော်နာမည်ကဇဂနာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
ကျွန်တော်နာမည်ကဇာဂနာလို့ခေါ်ပါတယ်
Lesson 10.6. People are often less shy about asking your age in Burma than we are in the West. So here's how it's done. The word for age is athet. Now copy the tape saying, I'm 24 years old.
အသက်24နှစ်ရှိပြီ
As you heard, the sentence type is just the same as the one you used for saying how long you'd been in Burma. If you've been in Burma for 24 years, you'd say Nasili Nit Shibi. And if you're 24 years old, you just add athet and say athet Nasili Nit Shibi. How would you say, I'm 18 years old?
အသက်16နှစ်ရှိပြီ
I'm 33 years old.
အသက်33နှစ်ရှိပြီ
I'm 21 years old.
အသက်22နှစ်ရှိပြီ
There's one small irregularity. You may remember that when you were counting Burmese jats, when you came to a round number, you left out the word jat altogether. Just to remind you, how would you say 35 jats,
35ချက်
18 jats?
18ချက်
But how do you say 20 jats
20
and 50 jats?
50
You measure ages in the same sort of way. How do you say, I'm 34 years old?
34
အသက်34နှစ်ရှိပြီ
And I'm 22 years old.
အသက်90
အသက်22နှစ်ရှိပြီ
နဲ့
But when it comes to 30 years old, you
နဲ့
say,
ရှိပြီ
အသက်30ရှိပြီ
you leave out the nit, the word for years. Say that one after the tape.
အသက်30ရှိပြီ
So how would you say, I'm 30 years old?
အသက်30ရှိပြီ
And I'm 20 years old.
အသက်20ရှိပြီ
When you're asking how old someone is, the question is this. Say it after the tape.
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
Literally, age, how much is it? Hathe, belau, shibile. Here's a bit of practice for lesson 10.6. First, a model to show you how the exchange will run. This is just for listening to.
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
26နှစ်ရှိပြီမိတ်ဆွေကအသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
ကျွန်တော်ကအသက်29နှစ်ရှိပြီ
As you heard, you get another chance to use Meiswego and how about you, and the answer Tinoga as for me. You take the part of both the speakers. How do you say, how old are you?
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
I'm 26.
96
26နှစ်ရှိပြီ
နှစ်ရှိပြီ
And how about you? How old are you? And call him friend.
မိတ်ဆွေကိုအသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီ
မိ
လဲ
တ်ဆွေကအသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
I'm 27.
ကျွန်တော်ကအသက်29နှစ်ရှိပြီ
Another encounter. You start off with, how old are you?
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
ရှိပြီလဲ
I'm 20.
That
Remember,
belongs
it's
to
a
me,
round
eh?
number.
အသက်နာဆက်ရှိ
အ
ပြီ
သက်20ရှိပြီ
And now ask, how about you? How old are you? And call him brother.
အကိုကိုအသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
အကို
ရှိပြီလေ
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
ကျွန်တော်ကအသက်30ရှိပြီ
And the last dialogue, how old are you?
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်
အ
ရှိ
သက်
ပြီ
ဘယ်
လဲ
လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
The man says, I'm 30.
အသက်30
အသက်
ရှိပြီ
30ရှိပြီ
And the man then says, and how about you? How old are you? And he calls her sister.
အမကိုအသက်
အမရော
အသက်
အသက်ဘယ်လောက်ရှိပြီလဲ
ရှိပြီလဲ
The woman says, I'm 35.
အသက်35နှစ်ရှိပြီ
ကျမကအသက်35နှစ်ရှိပြီ
If you'd like to run through what you've learnt about names and ages, turn to the review on this unit in the review section. Here's another example.
Okay, so I'm pretty on track. It's about a quarter past. So usually the first 15 minutes is spent putting together some cards, and the second 15 on some sort of revision. So I'll copy those ones, put them into here, save as 10.4 continued to 10.6. Go to Anki. Dex. Pit stop. Bring in this one. Press B to go to browse. Note that was 6 new cards. Hit return to go to the current deck. Suspend all of those and move them to language in circulation Burmese. Then I go to language in circulation Burmese. Is suspended. And then there are those cards I just added then. Now I currently have 113 suspended cards. You can have a look at how many I've got active. Is review. So currently I've got 205 cards from the course that I'm reviewing, and 113, 203 by the looks of things, because those ones shouldn't be there, or maybe 202 or so, and a bit over 100 that I need to get through. So at this point I'll usually just order them by some order, might order them by spelling, usually not. Recently I've been doing it by date created, because that gives me them in kind of the order that they apply. If you watch the lesson number, as I click down through them, the lesson number is just increasing. And then I just work my way through. So I'm well. The question to this is, 내가 나 or 내가 well, that one works anyway. I'm not sure. You could just say gambare, I think. Ne gambare. So I think, I'm not sure about how necessary the net is, but I'll leave it there anyway. Which one do you want? Beha lojin. Yeah, Beha lojin dale. Okay, so I know that one, so I can turn that off suspend. What did you order? Ba Mamale. Ba ma dale. Male would mean what are you going to order. Ba ma dale means what did you order. Got it wrong. What are you going to eat? Ba sa male. Be ma. Oh, where are you going to eat? I actually know how to say where, and I got the sa male correct, so I'm going to suspend that. I misread the question. Fried veggies. Tasenjo. Tasen. Fresh veggies from Tassie. Okay. Tasenjo. Plain watery tea. Inuitja. I just remember that because of my mnemonic, which is it's what Inuits drink. Very watery tea. Inuitja. Unsuspend that. Can we have some fried noodles? Kaswejo. Yumala. Kaswejo yamala. Yamala. Okay. How many helpings do you want? Behne pue yumale. Is that everything? Now I made up a mnemonic for this. It's something to do with dipping. Is there anything else? Can't remember. I hear that you're dabbler in things. Is that everything you dabble in? Dabbler, obviously the mnemonic isn't working well enough there. Yes, that's everything. Dabe. Okay, dabade. If I can remember dabela, I can probably remember okay, dabade. Well, not today. There's something more. Forgotten. Shiba dire. It's like to have what? Shiba dire. Trying to think of a mnemonic to remember this. Shiba dire. Shiba dire. All I can think of is sheep and bar. So like maybe there is another sheep left in the paddock or something. There's something more. There is another sheep bleating bleating in the paddock. Shiba dire. Dire. Shiba dire. Bill, please. Okay, this was like Paiksen Shime, more like, would you have she the money? Paiksen. No. Paiksen Shime. So I knew that, but it was a bit shaky, so I'll just leave it there. Stuff it, I'll just unsuspend it. How much does the bill come to? Belau. Pe. Belau. How much? Belau. Ja. The. Belau. Ja means like come to, I think. Belau. Jadale. Belak Jadale. Belak Jadale. Yeah. I had a feeling there was like PA or something like that to pay in there, but it wasn't. So it's alright. He can speak Tayok. Zaga Yodat Bade. Tayok Zaga Yodat Bade. Loving it. Where are you going? Checking the time, 7:23. Where are you going? Behma. Behma. I want to say Thwa. Can't remember. Bethwamale. Yeah, Thwa. Bethwamale. Behma means where. So, and Thwa means to go. So, Bethwamale. Where are you going? Alright. How much do you want us to pay? Belak Peadzindale. So there's no PA, it's just Belak Peadzindale. Perhaps you can also Belak Peadzindale, but I'm not sure. Belak Peadzindale. So these two ones, how are you going? Bethwamale and this one. You lose the back end of it. Are we going to stop here? Dihma Yamala. Dihma Yamala. Yeah. There's still some way to go. Shiba Dire was, there's still something more. Shiba, it's got to be something related to Shiba, doesn't it? Loba Dire. So we've got the Dire that's the same. Loba. We've got to get lo. Okay, Loba Dire. There's still something to go. Shiba Dire. There's still some way to go. Loba Dire. Okay. We're going to stop just over there. Eri Maha. Yakme. Shitnama Yakme. Well, there is Erima. So Shinama. I got the Yakme correct. Shinama. I'm not quite sure about this one. I should probably look back to 5.7.
Lesson 5.7, to stop.
ဒီမှာရက်မယ်
ဒီမှာရက်မယ်
Yeah. Copy these two questions after. Where do we have to think to, or should? Yeah, before. You already know how to ask the driver to stop. You can say, Dima yame, or Dima yapa. But if you want him to go a bit further on, there are two new phrases you may find.
Loba Dire.
Copy these after the tape.
လိုပါသေးတယ်
Loba Dire.
That means there's still some way to go. You may remember answering, sheep. It means there is more to come.
Oh,
If that was all you wanted to order in a cafe, it means there is more to come.
what does?
Lore
Okay.
means to be missing or to
Lo-
be lacking.
Lo-
So when you say lo ba dere, it means there is still some missing, or there's still some way to go.
Okay.
And you use it where we might say we're not there yet. Try it again after the tape.
လိုပါသေးတယ်
The other phrase you may find useful is this. Say it after the tape.
ရှေ့နားမှာ
Shitnama.
It means just over there. Literally, ahead, vicinity, in. That's a phrase.
Okay. Just accidentally pressed the. Well, I didn't accidentally. I pressed the play pause button on my keyboard and it actually just stopped the recording. But that's okay. You can hear my alarm going off because it's 7:28. So that means it's time for brekkie. But I just wanted to add in what we just learned there.
That's a phrase to use when you can point to where you want to stop. Here's a quick check for lesson 5.7.
Oh.
How do you say
Ahead vicinity
it
in.
means just over there. Literally, ahead, vicinity, in. That's a phrase to use when you can point to where you want to stop. Here's a quick check for lesson 5.7. How do you say, are we going to stop here?
I'm guessing.
ဒီမှာရပ်မလား
Yes, we're going to stop here.
ဟုတ်ကဲ့ဒီမှာရက်မယ်
Where do you want me to stop?
ဘယ်မှာရပ်ရမလဲ
Okay, so that will
Please
do
stop here.
for that. So what do we do? So is suspended is now at 105 cards. So I'll just record what study was done today. We finished off 10. Added equals 6. SC remaining suspended cards equals 105. And that's just allowing me to track whether I'm adding more than I'm starting to review. And you can see kind of got up to 111, brought it back down. I added obviously 6 today, but then I must have activated a number 5 to start in tomorrow's, and I won't review them, I'll just leave them till tomorrow, and you'll be able to see that there's 7 for me to do. This is because I believe I I suspended some whilst I was reviewing today. Maybe tomorrow I'll invite you into my Anki revision for Burmese just to see how that's going. See you later. Morning. So it's the following day, 25th of October, and I thought you might like to sit in on my usual morning Anki session. So usually I do my Anki session at about 6:20 in the morning, and here are all the decks that I review every morning: countries of the world, education. This actually doesn't have anything in it, that's just kind of a dead deck. I'll probably remove that actually. Areas of China, English vocab, bit from a few languages, math teaching, physics, quotes, US presidents, everything else. I'm trying to learn some of the US presidents at the moment as memory anchors. In history, the only modification I've made is I took out my names deck, which today has 18 cards. That's because I didn't want lots of people's faces popping up in this, which makes sense. So, you know, this would have been over 100. We've got 8 new, and they're mainly those Burmese words I learned yesterday. I was studying yesterday. Okay, this is Lebanon and its surface area. 10,000 square kilometers. Yep. That is Tanzania. That is So I've got the Chinese here as well, but really I'm just using this primarily to learn the country names. Costa Rica. Surface area, 50,000 square kilometers. This is a really good app that you can tell to schedule your timeouts. So I've got it coming up about every 30 minutes. But I'm not using it right now. That would be Senegal, Guinea-Bissau. Let's have a look at that. Guinea-Bissau. Bolivia. Belize. Barbados. These are Bongard problems. Functional behavior theory. So with a lot of this education stuff, I'm kind of just using Anki as a way to store references and things like that, and store ideas. So I don't necessarily strictly review it in the same way as I would with language. Functions that behaviors serve. Problem behavior. Get something or escape from something. Stimulatory, sensory, tangible.
And up here. Gansu. I'm just using this to study all the provinces. Inextricable. And again with the English vocab, I've just kind of am using it as some of the words I really get, but I'm not, because I add words so frequently, I'm not getting hung up on whether I'm getting them exactly correct or not. Inextricable is a pretty new one. Possible to entangle or separate. And I make sure I always read these sentences. Past and present are an inextricable and inextricable situation. I'm going to choose the 5 option. Inured. Can't remember that. So that's a completely new word. Accustomed to something, especially something unpleasant. These children have been inured to violence. Okay. Arrogate. Don't know that either. Take claim of, for oneself with. Take or claim something for oneself without justification. They arrogate to themselves the ability to define the nation's true interests. 5 days. Unassailable. Unable to be attacked, questioned, or defeated. An unassailable lead. 3 days. Fin de siècle means end of the century. Especially the 19th century. Century. Congeneric, from the same genus, like from the same place. Biologically, this animal is congeneric with the latest species. 2 sets were congeneric. Apocryphal. It's like of doubtful authenticity. Yep. An apocryphal story about a former president. His alleged description of opera as fat gits singing is probably apocryphal. Sine qua non. No, I had 2 Latin things in here, so it's either. I think it's prerequisite. Yep. Essential condition, I think that was here. Grammar and usage are the sine qua non. I'm probably saying that wrong. Of language, teaching, and learning. Inimical means harmful, I believe. Police was inimical to Britain's real interests. Unimpeachable, can't fold it. An unimpeachable witness. Nimbus, it's like the glowing halo around a cloud or angel or something, I believe. Luminous cloud or halo surrounding a supernatural being, a saint. A nimbus of power played around him, brighter than light. I should remove that sentence. Into the sentence. Okay. Nimbus. Yep, got it. Burmese. Will you pay 180? Tea shise peme. Yama. Yep, 13 days. Please stop here. Dima yakba. 3 days. Bill, please. Pakistan Shime. Yep, that's a new one. Go to 10 days. How many band aids do you have? Palasta. Belau. Plasta Belau. Boomale. Belau Umale. Yeah. Plasta Belau. Boomale. Can't remember. Belau Bu Umale. Plasta Belau. No, Plasta Behne Bu Umale. That's right. That's why I was getting it wrong. How many? That's surprising. It's not Belau. But I'll go review again. You get more. You get more. I'd like to buy a hat. Auto waiting bare. Please eat a biscuit. Biscuit Saba. Belok. Peamale. 7 days. Nip. What did you drink? Ba tau. Vale. Connect. Belok Java. Should put an I in there to be consistent. So, Palsy. Full stop. Yak man. Or ya man. Not quite sure about the voicing rule. Sometimes it's yak. I think it's like to stop is yak there. And sometimes it's ya, depending on what comes after it, but I'm not quite sure of that voicing rule. Where are you going to eat? Behma Samale. The time. Sitinai. Second minute. Are you gonna sit here? Are you going to sit here? Dingma. Time Mala. Do it again. I know that. Yes, we're going to stop here. Okay. Dingma ya. Meh. Didn't take her. Mayak babu. Son. Da. This is okay, isn't it? Here, no? I drink Pepsi. Pepsi dog bad eh. 30. Downs eh. Suffix. Net. Hamburger taku net. I'll take taku beba. Right. Okay. Pepsi tao. Timbale. When the voicing rule chin instead of gin. Beth na bui male. Beth na bue. Umale. Beth na bue umale. That's 10 minutes up. Oh. Hamburger. Mame. Nice. 11. City. What are you going to eat? Basame. Basamale. Getting my endings wrong. This means will. Which one? Okay. No, please don't stop here. Maya babu, team hamaya panet. 3 cups of coffee. Coffee. Dongwe. Can't read. Mapatat babu. No, not. Indonesian. Dirak. Oh, we saw this one before, didn't we? It was... It's not Guinea or Guinea-Bissau, but it starts with G. It is Guinea-Bissau. Oh, well. We'll go tomorrow. I think this is Guinea. Often I'll do this. Just have a look at what's around to reinforce my thinking. The Gambia, Senegal, Guinea. Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia. I get confused with these ones. Guinea-Bissau, the Gambia. The Gambia. Guinea-Bissau is underneath Senegal. The Gambia is getting eaten by it. Okay. Guinea-Bissau, I'll have a look tomorrow. Indonesian, would you like? Do you want to? Apakah Anda mau? From here, dari sini. Mid-afternoon or early evening. Sore. Plain watery tea. Inuit-ja. Indonesian, please go ahead. Silakan. 神经病 mental disorder. 邀请 invite. 非诚勿扰 that's the Chinese TV show, the dating show. 非诚勿扰. I did that as a second tone then, which was incorrect, but that's alright. 无家可归 to be homeless. 诊所 猪油 to detain. 现在灰姑娘特点 speciality. Yeah, like a special feature or characteristic. Balcony. 阳台 政治 government, politics. To celebrate 庆祝 文章 article, essay. 强迫 to emphasize, compel force. 强调 is the one I get this confused with. 强迫 pour, you getting forced to do. Okay. 长的 to like look. To provide for. 养活 yeah, fortunate, lucky. 幸运 私信不改 mostly. 几乎 we're going to Dihma. Yep, voila. And now we're given these options. I think I'm going to go for the... So this is a new card, so the options are less than 1 minute, less than 10 minutes, or 4 minutes. I think I'm going to go for... I'll just say this. I'll just go for 4 days. I'll just say 4 days instead of 4 minutes then. 24 cards left, and my studies finishes at 6:45 AM. Usually, obviously, I'd be going much faster than this, but because I'm narrating everything. Injured, English vocab. Oh, inured. Oh, that was the, these children have been inured to violence. Yep. Accustomed to. 专辑, album. 装象, I think. Yep. 好处, good points. 实习 交配 to mate. Burmese, bill please. Pakistan shime. So now this with these new cards, you just go to 4 days. Otherwise, it's just we're gonna end up with way too many. And this is the idea of doing the browse first and learning your cards in this browse function and then activating them. Okay. 保持 to preserve. 实行 to carry out. Plaster. Better buyumele. To attract. 吸引 Yup. Interfere. 干涉 bloke who spoke with a lot of sense about it. The police cracking down. Oh yeah. It was like, can't remember. But this is one that I'm using as like a reference because I know this guy comes from like Australian lawyers or lawyers something, and so if I want a informed opinion, I heard this guy on the radio, then I'll go and find him again. Greg Barnes, Australian Lawyers Alliance. So I'll be like, youth cracking down or radicalisation. Just search my Anki deck and find him. When and what? Oh, and I use this instead of something like Evernote, which I do use anyway. As you can see here, Evernote. Because I find if I just put stuff into Evernote, then I'll actually forget that I have it. So if I put it into Anki, because it brings it up multiple times, I might not exactly remember the fact, but I'll remember that I have it, and then I'll be able to just go into Anki and find it when I need to. When was the native title act created? 1993, and the critique of it is that it doesn't give Australian Aboriginal people the right to veto developments on their land, just to negotiate, and obviously they're disadvantaged in those negotiation situations because they're not white males. When and what called was the report suggests the US arms manufactured pressured the US into the Nye Committee, 1934 to 36. Again, those dates aren't that important to me. Which one do you want? Ba Lojin Dale Beha Lojin Dale, which not what is Ba, which is Beha. That's okay. Are you going to sit down? Give my time. The August suggests the US was indeed planning to maintain Pax America for as long as possible. Project for the New American Century, PNAC. What's about that Robert Buzzell? There you go, Robert, you get a mention. Told me about for reading languages on the computer. Read Lang, I believe. Which I'll use when I start to learn Spanish. More seriously. What was the military junta in when? 68 to 2011? 62 to 2011. That's right, because that's 2 centuries after Catherine the Great in Russia, so you should remember that. I love her. Again, the reason why I'm really focusing on these dates is because I'm trying to set down some memory anchors into my history. So you heard just then when I said, oh, that's 2 centuries after Catherine the Great came to power in Russia. I'm trying to just get dates into my memory related to things so that then I can create more links in my brain and create stronger kind of memory and idea networks. 1962 to 2011. So I need to do that one again. And we've only got 2 minutes left to get through these cards. Where are you going to eat? Burma Sa Ma Le. Yep, 4 days. What are you going to eat? Ba Sa Ma Le. Yeah. How many opens? Bethnabui Malay. That's the one I stopped at before. Go to 4 days. Young did his double split experiment of 1851, I hope. Yep. That was around, in between the 2 opium wars, which is an interesting connection to make. The org that's for young people supporting animal rights. Franimals. Tell me at Ghana's economy, second biggest cocoa and gold producer in Africa. First coherent theory of evolution, Lamarck. Don't know when. A theory of acquired characteristics or something like that. Inheritance of acquired characteristics. That'll do. As long as I remember it was Lamarck. Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. First Prime Minister. Robert Walpole from 1721 to 1742. Yes. And this was 2 centuries before the ending of the first opium war in China, which is how I remember that one. Bloke who discovered penicillin. 1928. I know this. Conscious of the time. Alexander Fleming, 1928. Put that in again. He can speak Chinese. Taeyok. It's like a... I'm going to go straight to 4 days. Prediction of black holes by Albert Einstein by general theory of relativity, 1916. 1915. I'll give that to myself. Calculate variance of the sample. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, this looks like an answer. This is a long one. I'm going to push this to tomorrow. Where is the concept of the veil of ignorance? John Rawls in his theory of justice. Plain what? My radio is about to come on with the morning news. 英语家强迫 to force or compel. There we go.
To visits alone, a holy site which is significant to both.
Something I was learning about last night. When was the military junta in charge in Myanmar? We just learned about this. It was from the 2 centuries after Catherine the Great in 1962 to 2011. Which one do you want? Behna. Yes, it's Beha Lojin Dale. Nice. Should go the 4 days option. Who's the bloke who discovered Alexander Fleming in 1928? Yes. And I'll study this one tomorrow. So, it took me a minute longer than usual, but that's my usual Anki morning study session. And if I finish early, I'll usually just go to either my something like this and just spend a few more minutes doing my kind of suspended, oh yeah, I know that. Or I might go online and do something like watch something I want to learn some more about. So yeah, hope you enjoy doing Anki with me.